Senegal, a country of fashion, fishermen, football and music. Later in the film, I'll be experiencing the frenzy of Mbour and the peace of Joal Fadiout. But first, I travel to the heart of the nation, the capital, Dakar.
Welcome to Dakar.
Yeah, welcome to Senegal.
Hello, brother and gentlemen. Welcome to Senegal in Dakar.
Dakar is far and away the largest city in Senegal, with the population of the metropolitan area now surpassing 4 million. It's the nation's centre for business and culture. Everything here is fast-paced, except for the traffic. The Plateau district was the heart of the French colonial administration and remains the city's administrative and banking centre. One of the most well-known markets here is the Marché, Kermel. It was built by the French colonial administration in 1860 and is divided into sections depending on the produce. With the port close by, there is no shortage of fish and seafood. But as well as food provisions, you'll also discover crafts, and in particular, a shop that feels more like an ethnographic museum.
Okay, my name is Mahtar Mustafa Fall. I'm in Kermel market. You know, my father was here, but he died 8 months past. Now I'm the one who take care of his business. Called Fangil. It's from Gabon. Fangil mask. It's mask for dance. It's very famous also in Gabon tribe. You know, they sell it last 2 years past. They sell it this mask 4,200,000 euro. You know, it's very famous in Google. What I'm saying is in Google. When you touch Fangil mask, they will tell you. These are an Igbo mask. It's from Nigeria. This is an Igbo mask. They used to dance with this, with the drums. They used to dance. This is Bambara. You see, it's seller.
So I've started buying already.
Yes.
My first mask from Congo.
From Congo mask.
Away from the plateau, Dakar's long corniche skirts the waves of the Atlantic Ocean. In one of the coves, you'll find the iconic Mosque of the Divinity, constructed in 1997. It's a place for quiet prayer. But not far away, we found a different type of prayer to the gods of the sea. This is the beach at Sembadjoune, where fishermen land their catch for the Dakarois to enjoy at the street stalls each night. There is also a bustling arts and crafts market here. On top of the highest hill in Dakar, you'll find one of the largest statues in the world. And it looks like it's just been dropped in from North Korea. And there's a very good reason for that. The African Renaissance Monument has dominated the northern suburbs of Dakar since 2010. Although designed by a Senegalese architect, the construction project was surprisingly given to the North Korean company Mansudae, which explains why it looks like the statues of Pyongyang. It was the pet project of President Wade, who said, "It brings to life our common destiny." Africa has arrived in the 21st century standing tall and more ready than ever to take its destiny into its hands. Hugely controversial at the time due to its cost, it is now accepted as part of the fabric of the city. Hidden away in the back streets of Dakar, you'll find probably one of the best music stores in the whole of West Africa. The 19th arrondissement of Dakar may be the smallest, but it's also the most visited, the most historic, and of course, it's also an island.
Nobody wanna see us together, but it don't matter.
The island of Gorée sits just off the coast, a 20-minute boat ride from the city. The ferry gives you a grandstand view of one of the largest ports in West Africa, serving not just Senegal, but also Mali.
Now the first name given to this island was Ilha de Palma by the Portuguese, because when they came here, almost all the vegetation around the island were composed by palm trees. So they named the island Ilha de Palma. But when the Dutch came, they decided to change the name of the island into Grote Rede, and it means in English a good harbor, a good bay, because anytime they used to come here, they were safe from being attacked from the coast, and they had enough time to rest and repair their boats without any problems. Also, when the British came, they decided to keep the Dutch name, but they put it in English. Good Red Island. Good like G-O-O-D, and Red, R-A-D-E, is like a bay in Old English. Now, when the French came, the English name Gorée was so famous they wanted to change it, but it was very famous. So they finally decided to modify the English pronunciation, which went from Gorée to Gorée. Okay? And that's how that last name was kept by history to stay the legal name of this island. And nowadays the island has 1,800 permanent residents. 70% of them are Muslims, 30% Christians. They have a big church on the island. I'll show you two later on. They also have a mosque. So everybody live in perfect harmony around the island. Also on the island, there are three main activities: tourism, fishing, and also selling arts like carvings, paintings, souvenir. You also have some people living on the island and working in Dakar and vice versa. Okay? Yep. So the baobab cannot be cut in Senegal. It's bad luck to cut them, and it's illegal. Okay, that's why behind the presidential palace in downtown, there's a huge baobab, and it's right in the middle of the road. So they can't cut it; they just use it as a roundabout. Also here on the island, we have a football field right there, and a small baobab came out of nowhere in the middle. So they can't cut it. The only thing kids do is just play around the tree. And the reason why we don't cut the baobab in Senegal is that when you cut them, the good spirits living in the tree will go away, and it brings bad luck. And the second reason is that it's our national symbol, so we're not allowed to cut our country symbol. We can cut the branches, the fruits, the leaves, but the tree itself, no.
It's peaceful now, but Gorée has a dark history. In fact, that description does not even come close. Horrific things happened here. Slaves were held in appalling conditions before being shipped across the Atlantic or thrown to the sharks if they were sick. The acts of the slavers here lacked any shred of human decency for the men, women and children involved. There were 28 slave houses on the island, and one is kept as a museum, the Slave House of 1786. The famous Door of No Return has been visited by, amongst others, Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama. It is a place of nightmares. In the late 18th century, the slave trade finally ended. Commercial merchants moved to the expanding city of Dakar on the mainland, and Gorée's population dwindled, although it did become more of a centre for education. Here is a more inspiring story. Gorée is the birthplace of Blaise Diagne, a national hero. He was the first person of full West African descent to be elected to the French Chamber of Deputies, and the first to hold a position in the French government. He never did see his beloved nation achieve independence, but his name lives on, not least in the name of the new international airport. Whilst Gorée looks to the past, 21st century Dakar is rising 20 kilometres south of the city centre, in the new district of Diamniadio. With a new fast train link, modern sports stadiums, conference centres and hotels, this area is predicted to be Senegal's city of the future. Watch this space.
We are now in Mbour, 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 in the south, is the part of the south in Senegal. We are now in a fishing village. This is one of the biggest fishing village in Senegal. Because here in Senegal, our number one activities is fishing. We do a lot of fishing in this country. Like in the morning, most of these boats go early in the morning for the day trip to fish, and back in the evening by 5 p.m. up to midnight.
This is Senegal's second largest port. The catch here is shipped internationally, but first it has to be landed on the beach, a process that requires both manpower and horsepower. The abundant and diverse catch is then processed in the traditional way before moving to the fish market, the packers, and eventually the trucks. The fishermen here take enormous risks, travelling up to 40 kilometres offshore in traditional canoes called pirogues, without any modern navigation aids. They can spend days out at sea in these basic boats with little protection from storms or the large international trawlers. It is a very dangerous occupation, yet fundamental to the towns of the Senegalese coast.
In all my travels, I've honestly never seen an experience like this. I was expecting a few fishing boats and a few stalls and a small fishing market. There are thousands of people here. And the crazy thing is that I'm told that in the evening, it's much, much busier, if you can imagine it.
The area known as La Petite Côte, the Little Coast, runs from Dakar all the way south to the town of Joal, where the delta region of the Sine Saloum begins.
In the history of Senegal, the town of Joal has one very large claim to fame.
This was the birthplace of Senegal's first president, Léopold Sédar Senghor. Senghor was the founder of the Senegalese Democratic Bloc Party in 1948. The first African elected as a member of the Académie Française, and is regarded as one of the most important African intellectuals of the 20th century. His birthplace is now a museum.
There's only one time when the towns of Senegal truly fall quiet. That is Friday prayers.
Joal is a typical fishing port of the Senegalese coast. What brings visitors here is its neighbouring community of Fadiouth. Fadiouth is unique on many levels. It is an island built entirely on clamshells, accumulated over centuries. There are no vehicles on the island, so residents and visitors arrive along the footbridge. All visitors are accompanied by one of the island's official guides. In my case, the wonderful Hyacinthe.
Welcome to Fadiouth, my home.
Senegal is predominantly a Muslim country, but the population of Fadiouth is mainly Catholic, with both communities living in harmony around the island's main thoroughfare, known here as the Champs-Élysées. Not only is the island dotted with Christian iconography, but it also has, unusually for Senegal, a thriving population of pigs.
Like everything else on this island, the church has its foundations on a bed of shells. And every Sunday, you'll find the whole of the community right here.
For the population of Fadiouth, their proudest achievement is the cemetery. Layer upon layer of shells have created a raised area from which one looks down upon the village and the delta. This natural, yet artificial island houses both a Catholic cemetery and a Muslim cemetery. And naturally, many of the graves are decorated by shells.
And now it's time to take to the water.
The mangrove swamps here are home to pelicans, herons and cormorants, and the waters teem with fish. Deeper in, you'll find manatees, dolphins and flamingos. But that will have to wait for another visit. There is so much to see in Senegal. I have no doubt that I'll be back.